optimal. All right. Another one. All right. Good evening, anyone who's watching. My name is Sequoia Romero, a member of the ASC, newly formed. We are discussing this evening the Dominoes fundraising attempt to create some funding for emergency aid for homeless or those in crisis. Just to wrap up what the fundraiser was to sell these cards. We used a QR code. And what the card did was when someone bought one of these for $20, half of it went to Dominoes and the other half went to the cause. The card itself is very useful. I've used it twice already. It's called Slice the Price for Domino's Pizza, a large menu pizza. Any one that you buy, you get a free pizza. So if you bought 5 pizzas, you got 5. 10 pizzas, you got 10. 100 pizzas, so on and so forth. And it's good till December. So anyone in the community who didn't see this or considered it, you didn't buy one, hate to say it, you missed out. It's a really powerful card. But anyhow, just wanted to talk about the conclusion of the fundraiser. We only were able to sell 4 cards in general, so therefore we raised $40. I know the mathematics might confuse, so it was actually $80 was spent, but again, half goes to Domino's. Right now we're going to discuss, the conclusion of the fundraiser event as far as participation and everything else, and what to do with the $40. I have with me Josh.
Hello, everybody.
And so anyone watching, this is the city of Las Vegas, New Mexico, and we were trying to do a little something for the homeless and those in crisis. There was a meeting before this just to talk about how to sell these cards. I think some people had a little trouble with the QR code and using links, using online stuff, which, I understand. But there was also some suggestions as to what to do with this, the fundraiser and the money. It's a very small amount that we raised, the $40. So there were some suggestion of simply just going out there and giving it to the homeless. As far as what ASC wants to try to do is we want to try to build infrastructure. We want to use the whole proverb of, you can give someone a fish, every day and feed them one day, or you can teach them how to fish and they'll feed themselves for a lifetime. Or rather, instead of giving someone a glass of water, a community should build a well, and do that to help mitigate the problems that we have, the crisis that we have in a community. Because in my opinion, as far as, what's going on, is that we have a problem with infrastructure. Infrastructure is the cause of many of the shortcomings in society. And I think that people can come together and use their resources and time to create community-owned wealth, resources, enterprise, and entrepreneurship. So I guess the strategy going forward from here on out, and not saying the ASC is not going to do charity, which we will, but right now we're in the building of infrastructure phase. But right now what I'll be seeking out with the help of anyone who wants to get involved is grants for creating economic development here in the state of New Mexico. Anyhow, I wanted to ask my colleague here, Josh, what he thought about some of the ideals about the Dominoes and his own personal thoughts. Josh?
Yes, I think it's a good start. It allows us to build up a little beginnings of a fund in order to achieve an ultimate goal, which is still to be decided. And eventually we can add in more little ventures like these that will make the fund grow over time. And as it grows, you can find more interested parties that would be able to contribute in other ways. And by building up that coalition, we can actually get a sizable amount of money that will allow us to really be able to make a difference in some way. $40 is a good start, but it definitely would take a lot more. And really what is necessary is more manpower and the ability to get things done, the influence to do it, to convince the right people that the cause is just. To be able to find these people is one of our main goals. And if we have more like-minded people together, to have the people that are less fortunate included in that, we can have the people build upon that kind of foundation and allow them to be part of something bigger, to give them a purpose to be stronger. And instead of giving handouts to the homeless, we could be able to give them jobs and security, friends, people to talk to, instead of allowing them just to be on the streets and just not seen, invisible. They can be part of the community in whatever way they can. And little things can do that. If you can find a activity that a certain person likes and they want to continue doing that, we want to be able to provide them with an opportunity to do that and contribute in whatever capacity they can. And that's what the coalition is kind of trying to strive towards building, is a infrastructure of different kinds of things that people like to be part of. Here at the Jam Space, it's all about music. So if you have anything that's even tangentially related to music, any kind of interest, I want to be able to provide that for those kinds of people. And if you wanted to do electrical work or welding or any kind of trade, we're looking for people that have that kind of mindset too, and have a space that they could open up and give part-time jobs to allow the homeless to come in, learn a trade, and at the same time allow that to economically benefit the community as well as that person itself. So we can only do what we can do, and I suggest that we don't try to strive further than that and try to overwhelm ourselves. We really need to be able to do what we can and provide what we can without it becoming a burden on ourselves. That way we can provide more for others just by doing what we love. So yeah, that's about it.
It's well said. And for example, we have two skill sets. This is a musical facility. I'm an electrical engineer, and this is a business, and it's owned by this gentleman here. However, what the coalition's ideal core property is to help lift up other businesses. So you better believe that that's what I'm going to try to do. I have products that I'm going to bring to the store, things like that. So coalition, the ASC, the Allied Sovereignties Coalition, really is striving to be a coalition of entrepreneurs who can come together, bring their resources together, and use that to make big changes. So, what I mean by that is, we're not saying give up your ownership or anything like that. We're just saying join your powers and your abilities and your benefits all around. And by doing so, you're not alone in the process, especially if you're a new business owner. You're trying to create something new. You need some support. You need some help. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create a platform to raise people and community-owned enterprise, community-owned entrepreneurship. So as time goes on, I'm coming up with different ways to describe what the goal is. But if you have a chance, watch the videos. Speaks better than I do. I'm not much of a camera person, but feel free to add your comments or come to these meetings, and reach out to be connected with us so we can build something new. Anyhow, that's it for tonight, and I hope everyone has a good evening. And if you see a homeless person out there and you have the means to give them the ability to raise themselves up, whether it be raking your yard, of course, with safety in mind, of course, we're not saying go out there and just pull anyone out. You have to watch over yourself, but it's a good time, especially now in our time, to help provide a way for people to raise themselves up, and by doing so, you are helping them restore their dignity. All right, you have a good night. Thank you.